right man for the right spot, is the barriers to entry into aviation are massive. And I'm sure you've heard that we're shortage of pilots, shortage of mechanics, the whole lot. 3 ways in. Either you knew somebody, usually a grandpa or a father that was in it, you join the military, or you stumble into it. And none of those are very viable routes to fill that shortage, which is why United created that Aviate program down in Arizona. Did away with the degree program. You don't have to have a diploma anymore. You just can apply to the program, and then they help you obtain the loans to go through the program. And they're attracting, the first 2,500 applicants have to be women. There's so few women in aviation. What we're running into is students would love to get into the aviation fields. The cost is so high. Just with the bachelor's degree, you're going to come out $80,000-$90,000 in debt.
Wow.
Which is an insane amount of student loans, and not the student loans won't even cover you. And I'm sure you know from being on the Board of Regents, you're going to be covered as a freshman very, very little, and that's not going to cover any of your flight costs. So if you want to become a pilot, you have to foot that $13,000 bill on your own, and that requires you to take out loans through, I don't know, third-party lenders, which sometimes those are a little scammy. And so I think we should do something in order to reach our goal, because aviation is such a huge part of this country, and it's only going to get bigger. We need something to close that gap, to help the young people get into the industry, and so that we can actually build back where we need to be. So I don't know where we can go from that, but I know Delta Hawk is vital in taking our kids and showing them. Our diversity in the field has increased almost 100-fold.
Absolutely.
I mean, we have, what, 2 girls now?
Yep, 2
working?
females.
Yep. And so, aviation-wise, that's a huge deal. So, and we have our first deaf and hard of hearing student is working up there as well.
Spectacular. One of the challenges, so I'll come back to the pilot side. One of the challenges we face, I think a lot of businesses in our community face, we're so B2B focused, business to business, and less business to consumer facing. So if you went and you said, what do you do if you work at Starbucks? You got a pretty good idea. You've gone to Starbucks. What do you do if I work at Kohl's? I got a pretty good idea. I've been to Kohl's. That's where I bought some towels. But if you said, what do you do if you go to Delta Hawk? I don't know. And I worked at 2 big manufacturing companies in our state, Regal, Rexnord, and then Charter Next Generation. Charter Next Generation is a big plastics company. And we would take employees, or when I was on the executive team, we would take folks who were applying to a job, and you just walk them through the factory, because you realize most of these people had never seen the inside of a plastics factory. When raise your hand, have you been in a plastics factory? Nobody, right? Same with, I've never been in a diesel engine factory, right? I mean, it's like you kind of go through, and so few people know what's inside, and getting the way you describe your program, right, where you're getting people introduced into the opportunities that are out there. And we have some amazing, sophisticated family-sustaining jobs, and getting younger people to have a rough idea of what's inside, because the manufacturing of 50 years ago looks totally different than today. I haven't been in your facility, but I'm guessing it's got sophisticated equipment that people run that are well paid, just because the days of low-cost labor is gone and is going into higher cost, right? CNC machining and all these other things, and a CNC machiner makes pretty big bucks. But if you ask most people, they actually have no clue what that is, what it looks like. They think the factories are dark and dingy. They're usually now well lit, they're clean, they're organized. I mean, it's just changed. And getting that information out to folks in our community is a huge piece of this. I don't offer an easy solution to it, but it sounds like you guys are doing a lot of that work.
Yeah, and what James referring to, like our demographics in Racine, and you alluded to I-94 and businesses and things like that. We didn't expand as a community here in Racine. Kenosha did, right? Kenosha ran all the way out to 94. Racine stops. Green Bay Road, turn into Mount Pleasant, and then there's the big gap, and that's one of the transportation issues, because you don't have that public transit line and you don't have things out. And so what we find from our students is that gap seems to get bigger and bigger a little bit in terms of opportunities, and that's one of the reasons for the academies, right? Is like, if you're not going to get it, we're going to provide it for you. It's getting it to the point where the kids are like, yes, I'm ready to have this opportunity, and working through some of those hierarchy needs to get them to that level. But I think like what we run into oftentimes is then students realize what they want to do as a junior. Well, now how do we get you there? Well,
Yeah.
my family income is $27,000. I'll get a little bit of Pell Grant money, but it's $5,000 as a freshman. Well, now what do I do? I want to
Yeah.
be this, I want to be that. And so just what type of opportunities we can provide, how can we mentor our young people sooner?
Mhm.
And then how, like, partnerships are so vital to this. We met with the FAA local chapter, and they had mentioned having some government officials and
Yeah.
having these conversations, and it's so hard to do.
Yeah.
But I don't want to control the conversation because I want the kids to be able to talk and be able to do, because they're the ones that are going to benefit from this stuff. I mean, they're the
Yeah.
ones that are going to be in it. We talk. He's like, I think I might want to do this, but I'm not sure. I mean, just for all intents and purposes, I'd say you're not a focus student, but all of a sudden he gets a 23 on his ACT. And he's just
Good.
like he can do anything. He's just got to make a decision. But I think the
Yeah.
exposure piece is where, what do you know? What's out there and learning.
I mean, I still am unsure of what I'm doing, but I am taking steps to like start my own business.
Nice.
With using my drone certification to start like doing real estate jobs, just flyovers, stuff like that. But what I'm actually gonna do, I still have yet to decide. And it
So you're
might-
taking your drone flying certification and using it to take photos for real estate for people that want a shot of a house or
Yeah.
want a shot of a building.
Land survey.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And then eventually, if we get further through that, my dad's actually been a big help. But we're gonna start doing like LiDAR and like infrared. Just
Yeah.
it goes pretty deep.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll
It's
see.
awesome.
Lisa, Jim.
All I know is that, we, from a manufacturing standpoint, we face the difficulty of finding people to work, right? And we enjoy our relationship we have here. We have people that we can mentor. There's a lot that goes on with in our structure of our organization. They've been an extreme help in getting us there. We can't find A&Ps, right? So they're not readily available in the market right now. We look for mechanical engineering. So all of the things that we require to continue with our business, it's very difficult. I truly appreciate the relationship here and what they're helping us do. We've also partnered, we're looking at other schools and talking to them at a different level, right, in the college level as well. But anything we can do to help these students get that exposure and help them with their goals is only going to help the industry. Lisa is on the HR side, and we talk all the time. We brainstorm how can we do things differently. It's not the same as when you were hired, right? You can't just put an ad out and
Yep.
get 1,000 people. You get none. You get one, right? You just don't get it anymore. So how do you think differently? And it's great that these kids are getting exposed to that, then getting exposed to our business so that they can make some decisions. But we need to help them grow from there. And we have many aspiring people at our organization that we talk about getting our pilot's license, right? And we have a couple in particular, as they have funds, they, rent the plane and try and get their license. So
Yeah.
they're continuing that. Hopefully, our business will be able to support that a little bit better, but right now we can't. But it is difficult, and we want as many pilots as we can. Just that knowledge of the airframe and all of that help us designing an engine. You talk about consumers. We have to make an engine that consumers want.